I'm Kevin Berry with the Chicagoland Lionel Railroad Club. Today we're going to look at the Lionel Niagara Vision Line steam locomotive, stock number 6-58111. It appears in the Lionel Catalog 2018, Volume 1, page 7.
And I'm Herb Coach, and we're with the Chicagoland Lionel Railroad Club. So Kevin, this is the 6019 LCCA version of the Lionel Niagara.
Good looking engine.
And you know, it's got quite a few features. It has the stack, and it has the sand dome, and also pop-off valves, which actually have a pop-off smoke feature. It has the big 4-axle drivers, 2 axles in the front and 2 behind, making it a 484. And nice to this engine is the elephant ears.
Right below the engine number itself, it has its class designation, S1A. There were a total of 26 New York Central S-Class engines built, including the prototype number 5500, but there were 25 either S1As or S2As.
So this is an S1A?
This is an S1A. This would have been built the latter part of 1945 and through 1946.
And these competed with the, I don't know if it was the FTs or the F3s?
The early F-unit diesels, definitely.
Yeah, and this held up longer than I think other steam locomotives. Eventually they were scrapped, but they did a good job in competing with the diesel engines.
They were designed to, and actually did haul passenger trains like the 20th Century Limited, the Commodore Vanderbilt, the Empire State Express, and near and dear to our hearts, the Chicagoland, at a speed of 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's a nice clip that this engine was able to make.
Those large wheels, large drive wheels that you mentioned on the engine, were 79-inch drivers.
Yeah, those are 100-mile wheels.
Yeah, those are big ones.
Now Lionel put a lot of features into this. It has a speaker right here in the firebox area, and then it has 2 speakers in the tender. That was a big coal hauling and water hauling tender.
It was, for its day and age, it was a monster. It carried 16,000 gallons of water and 46 tons of coal. It could leave New York City and not stop again until it was near Waynestown, New York, which is 14 miles east of Rochester, to pick up coal. Once it did that, it was straight into Chicago.
Okay, so for a steam locomotive, only one stop for refueling, and they probably did that when they were taking passengers.
Most likely. And it also used a scoop to draw water from water pans between the track, because the New York Central was the water level route, and they just snatched water on the fly. They wouldn't have to carry that extra weight with them. And the tender was accurately created. It has 7 axles. The first 2 axles are in a following truck under the front end, and then there are 5 straight axles starting just before the midpoint and running to the rear of the tender.
Yeah, that's a nice tender.
You know, it's almost double the length of a standard tender.
It's nice.
So tell me the really nice features that this engine has.
One thing that this has too is a steam whistle, where the steam is simulated at the point of the steam whistle. It's got pop-off valves that also generate steam, and then in the back by the tender there's exhaust steam coming out, or water spray, that simulates the loading of water on the fly of the tender.
I also noticed that here, right behind the elephant ear, is the American Locomotive Company builder's plate.
Yeah, that's always sweet, and it's detailed. This engine has a lot of smoke. And the smoke for the chimney and the whistle are put right into the chimney. The smoke for the pop-off valves, you pull off the pop-off valves and the smoke goes right in here, the smoke filler. And then in the tender has a utility box that you pull off, and right here is where the smoke for the tender goes in, and that would take care of the water spray effect that comes out of the tender. This locomotive has many features, and the control features are located in two areas. On the engine itself, it's under the sand dome, and the sand dome has the run program control, the volume control, the steam on and off, the whistle steam on and off, and then the pop-off valves on the bottom here. The second set of controls is in the tender in the water fill. You pop that up and you can see the identification of what controls are here. You have volume control and you have steam control. I also like looking at the back of a tender. Notice how the running lights are illuminated quite well. And then when it goes backwards, so the engineer can see behind them, you got the backup light, which is a nice feature.
NYC 6019 to the tower. We're underway. Over. Thanks, 6019. Have a safe run. Out.
So Kevin, you can see the steam coming out of the smokestack, and that's kind of a nice feature. I like that. And here's the whistle. And you can see it right by the smokestack, almost parallel and complementing the smokestack smoke. You can see that big puff starting out.
I did see that. That's a nice touch.
The prototypical sound for the whistle is a whistle. But if you press aux 1, it will go to a horn, and that might just be something in the commonality of horn and whistle steam locomotives that they combined them all into one. But let's go back to what's prototypical. Much better.
I believe so. A steam engine should sound like a steam engine.
Yeah. So let's take a look and see what this engine can do. Let's start this one up.
6019 in Harmon. Waiting clearance. Over. Roger that. You're clear to proceed east. Over. We're knocking down your home signal now. Out.
So let's start with the automatic sequence control. And that you get by pressing the aux 1 button. Hold it until you hear the whistle and the bell. And now we'll start ramping up.
I like the burst of smoke as the cylinders kick in.
Yeah, it is nice that that smoke puffs like that with each chuff. Okay, Kevin, we're going to take some water on.
Those track pans sure saved a hard-working railroad man having to climb the tower.
You got that right.
I wouldn't want to wrestle that water snorkel.
No, especially if I didn't have to.
Especially in the dead of winter.
Yeah. Yeah, this engine's worthy of a nice consist So I have a couple of sets, Kevin, of passenger cars here.
The 6019, the S1 class, pulled the signature runs for the New York Central. And the detail of the cars matches the detail on the engine.
Thanks for your patience. The second seating is now open in the dining car. Oh boy, let's go!
That 5-chime call to dinner is as authentic as I've ever heard on a tape. The lounge car is wonderful, and the boat-tailed observation car matches some of the ones that I've actually had the privilege of riding in. And there is a beautiful herald on the door at the end of the boat tail. You know, you could step back into time and ride this engine in your mind, or you could find it on any of the great movies of the 40s and 50s. But with the stainless steel cars, more likely the 50s and the late 50s at that. And as the speed picks up, the smoke becomes more consistent until it looks like a real engine operating at speed.
Well, it's going fast.
It looks like it's doing the 100 miles an hour the real engine would do.
Yeah. Another nice feature, Kevin, that this Lionel engine has is Bluetooth capability. You go to the app of Lion Chief, enter it, and then you get the controls. You see how it took up the 6119? And now we're completely in the program. The whistle, the bell, announcements.
Border tower calling to 6019. Might be a few minutes. Watch it. Over.
Well, I didn't do the pop-off valve, but that came automatically.
Along with the ability to open and close couplers.
Yeah.
And control the volume.
And it has some other features where you can put the momentum to the speed you want. And you can start running the engine.
Your cell phone weighs about half what the big controller weighs. I guess that means you get to run your train twice as long before you start feeling it in your wrist.
Yeah, I think so, Kevin.
I just don't think that your cell phone will give you the braking effect.
Well, but it is nice to run this Bluetooth, and as you saw, it does stop the engine, but it doesn't have the squealing effect of the brakes that you would with the Legacy full control of the Legacy Cab 2.
Or the floorboard vibration.
I hear you.
Beautiful engine, Herb. I don't know what story you told Santa, but it must have been a good one.
Bless her heart.
Yeah.
Now what I like too is this plate that's in between the tender and the engine for the Coleman to inspect the tender car if he needed to.
Yeah, he doesn't have to jump between the engine and the tender.
Wheel slippage is an interesting feature, and it simulates the engine spinning its wheels while it's trying to get traction.
Are we clear through the plant? Over. Clear through my limits. Over. Copy that. Clear.
Another nice feature is the emergency stop.
In the us okay on the train. Over. Thank you. Proceed when ready at restricted speed to the next signal. Out.
When signing off, this engine has two scenarios. Here's the first one.
NYC 6019 to the tower. We're marking off. Out.
Here is the second scenario.
Engine 6019 to the dispatcher. Turning the engine over to the hostler. We're heading for the line. Out. NYC 6019 to the tower. In brake is applied. We're up to sign the register. Out.
And this is Herb Coach and Kevin Barry, and we're signing off for the Chicagoland Lionel Railroad Club. Over and out.